Aloha and good afternoon. You're watching This Is Now. First today, a new development in the redevelopment of Aloha Stadium.
Yeah, 2 teams are now being considered for the stadium project. That also includes the surrounding entertainment district. Daryl Huff joins us now with the latest details. And Daryl, looking at the companies that make up these 2 teams, some impressive local companies.
Yes, in fact, these are the 2 finalists that have been chosen by the Aloha Stadium Authority to be make a pitch for how they want this district to look, how they want the stadium to look, how they might be able to enhance the stadium. What a lot of people have speculated on is would some mainland organizations come in and swoop in out of speculation, because it's a huge piece of property in Hawaii with a lot of money potential for development. So what we've got here is 2 organizations. Let me name them. I'll put it right off the press release that came out this morning. Aloha Halava District Partners is led by Stanford Car Development, who is one of the more respected developers in town. Another organization is a company called Development Ventures Group, Inc. When I looked them up, I think they built the stadium in San Francisco. Wow. Where the my favorite team ever, the San Francisco Giants play. I went to their games and I had a total brain bubble. They have also Hawaiian Dredging Company as their construction company, and then a variety of other companies. The second group is called Waiola Development Partners, which is headed by the Kobayashi Group, which is also a very respected development organization. They've done many projects in Hawaii. And a company called Ellis Don Capital Inc., which is the mainland affiliate that has done stadiums and so on. Design Partners Incorporated, Manic Architecture, many very reputable mainland companies that have done landmark projects around the country. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this moves forward, but I think it's going to be very reassuring for people who've had a lot of doubts about whether this was financially feasible.
And I saw Governor Green in the press release mention that this is ahead of schedule, announcing these 2 teams. What is the timeline then going forward?
Well, just to be honest, it's only about a month ahead of schedule, this announcement. The hard work now going forward is to the 2 teams will now be given the detail that they need from the consultants and the prior studies about what's in the ground there, what needs to be done, what's the cost of a stadium, all this other stuff that up to now they don't have. So based on that, they're going to make a plan that will be used to lay out a timeline for what gets built first and so on. The stadium, of course, is a priority. They still say it will be up by 2028 in the fall, along with some of the construction around the stadium.
And Daryl, of course, the question on everyone's mind, how much is this going to cost? Where's the money coming from? What's that like?
Well, the stadium is financed. There's basically a base level of financing of about $350 to $400 million. That's taxpayer dollars that's being committed to this project. So the developer will take that money and say, okay, I can build a stadium that doesn't have a roof, that maybe doesn't have anything moving, maybe has bare bones lockers and very few facilities. Or they can come in and go, because I'm going to build a residential hotel complex right next to the stadium that's going to make me a ton of money, I'll take some of that profit and put it into the stadium. So the $350 to $400 million is the starting amount, but then expect these guys to go out and get investors from all over the world who will want to invest in hotels and residential and other kinds of shopping centers and so on that they would build. So the actual outside cost of the district will be in the billions and billions of dollars. The stadium itself, right now, the price is $350 to $400 million.
All right, Daryl Huff, thank you so much. He's going to have more on this story coming up first at 4. Now to some other headlines. The investigation into what caused that cargo ship to crash into that Baltimore bridge is just getting started, but the process will not be quick. Natalie Brand has the latest.
New video shows the salvage operation underway as federal and state agencies use sonar equipment to survey the area where the Francis Scott Key Bridge collapsed. Divers recovered 2 bodies Wednesday, and 4 other construction workers are presumed dead.
Our hearts are with the families, and to all the families, we are so sorry for this tragedy.
Maryland State Police identified the men found as 35-year-old Alejandro Hernandez Fuentes, originally from Mexico, and 26-year-old Dorleon Castillo Cabrera from Guatemala. Among the missing, Minor Yasir Suazo Sandoval, a father of 2, described by his brother as kind and big-hearted.
When you were talking to him on Sunday, did you ever think that was going to be the last time you saw him?
No.
NTSB investigators are analyzing evidence removed from the cargo ship Dolly and speaking to crew members as they work to determine what led to its crash into the Key Bridge.
There is a lot of information we need to collect, a lot that we need to analyze, many interviews.
The NTSB says its investigation and final report could take 1 to 2 years. It's not yet clear how long it will take to reopen the port of Baltimore to ship traffic and ultimately rebuild the bridge.
We have a very long road ahead of us.
State and federal leaders emphasize the urgency of getting one of the nation's busiest ports back in business.
It's such a major catastrophe for this area, and it's just surreal. It's just like I can't wrap my mind around the fact that that whole bridge is actually gone.
Community members say they're in mourning for the lives lost and the bridge itself, a landmark for the region. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Baltimore.
The state transportation department is trying to hunt down a stolen government truck it believes is being used to commit crimes. Crews at the Hauula base yard found a broken fence last week and one of their trucks missing. Officials believe it happened overnight Thursday, where thieves then took the truck down to Manoa to conduct another theft. Surveillance video shows a truck with similar markings hauling away a trailer from an arborist's Manoa home at around 5:30 a.m. Friday.
I think it might have been just blown off as they're just working. They're just working, leave them alone type of thing.
Because it was a state vehicle?
Yeah.
The state is now rolling out a $10,000 security upgrade to all 16 of its base yards. It includes GPS tracking in vehicles, wheel locking and chains, and new security camera systems. Governor Josh Green has once again backed off his threat to ban short-term rentals in West Maui. He says there are enough units to house all Maui fire survivors without using hotels. He added that building modular housing villages is about 2 months behind schedule. That means families may have to move from hotels into rental apartments first. Green predicts homeowners may be able to get permits to rebuild in the burn zone by the end of this year.
We were pretty blown away at how some of the progress has already been made and how clean many of the lots actually are. I think that, especially around the edges of the fire, you're going to see the infrastructure start creeping in more quickly. And those individuals are going to be eager.
The governor is standing by his July 1st deadline to have all survivors out of the hotels. Happening today, Joint Task Force Red Hill will officially stand down. It'll transfer authority to the Navy Closure Task Force in a ceremony aboard the USS Missouri. The facility's closure comes after years of leaks. In November 2021, roughly 20,000 gallons of fuel spilled after a worker's cart slammed into a swollen fire suppression line. The fuel in that line came from another pipe rupturing months earlier, spilling about 21,000 gallons. The November leak contaminated water for 93,000 people using the Red Hill well, sickening about 5,000. And in 2014, 27,000 gallons of jet fuel spilled while a storage tank was being refilled.
While I wish the unfortunate events of 2021 did not occur, I was humbled and privileged to be selected to lead the team to safely and expeditiously defuel the facility and to help rebuild trust with the communities of Hawaii and our military families.
So far, the military has removed more than 104 million gallons of fuel. The Navy will be in charge of removing the remaining 32,000 gallons of residual fuel and sludge from the pipelines and storage tanks.
How do you balance community safety and preventative measures with the lapse of a crucial amenity, electricity? That's the issue plaguing Mililani residents as unexpected power outages are hitting them more frequently. Hawaiian Electric is apologizing but says they're looking at ways to adjust. Ben Gutierrez reports the reasons behind it.
HECO says recent changes were made to improve safety in areas with a wildfire risk, like here in Mililani. However, for residents, that has meant more power outages within the last month.
It always happens after the dinner hours, as early as 6 p.m., as late as 9 p.m., just last Friday.
HECO said earlier this year that it was part of a new wildfire protection plan after the Lahaina fires. Sensors now shut off power quickly if any disruptions are detected.
And what we're trying to prevent is any damage to fuses that can cause sparks. And so that's the reason for putting these measures into place.
What we've heard from HECO is that the state has worked with HECO to try to make improvements to the grid to ensure safety measures for all of us residents across the islands, given the recent tragedy in Lahaina.
Mililani has been identified as being at a higher risk for wildfires, illustrated by a blaze that burned for several days in the mountains above Mililani, Mauka late last year. But the new measures have impacted some 2,000 residents in southwest Mililani.
5 outages within the past month, so that is on roughly about 1 a week.
And each blackout has lasted at least an hour because power isn't restored until the line can be inspected.
It is fairly disruptive. I have a lot of kupuna who live alone. I have family members who need to do homework or study for an exam.
Because, as you know, it's unannounced, it spontaneously happens, and, it has, negative effects on sensitive electronic equipment.
Hawaiian Electric told the Mililani Neighborhood Board that the outages are happening in an older part of the community where the cables were buried directly in the ground and not protected by a conduit.
Because of these disruptions, because these cables are directly in the ground with no protection, there's no way to plan these disruptions.
They happen unexpectedly. And so for these particular ones, we don't have any advanced capabilities for notifying them when these faults occur.
The utility says it is looking at installing more monitoring equipment with longer-term plans to improve the electrical cables, but that will still be weeks, if not months, away. In Mililani, Ben Gutierrez, Hawaii News Now.
Happening this afternoon is a rally for the Transgender Day of Visibility, organized by the Hawaii Health and Harm Reduction Center. This is aimed at bringing attention to and shattering hateful rhetoric targeted at the LGBTQ+ and trans community. The organization says 41 states introduced a total of 527 anti-trans pieces of legislation in 2024. Here in Hawaii, advocates say the Mahu identity is ingrained in the culture, but the hate is rampant nationally.
With so many constant attacks that's happening with transgender folks, the beatings, the stabbings, the killings, the murders, the anti-trans bills, just for living in our truth, it's ridiculous. And we know here in Hawaii that is not the pono way. We all know that Mahu and transgender folks have a place with our people. And so for us understanding that, then we understand why it's so important for us to celebrate this day so that our people know that they are not being left behind and they are not alone.
The rally will take place at the state capitol from 3 to 5 p.m. The public is welcome to join. For one Hawaii parent, what started as a way to cope with grief has now become an opportunity to raise awareness about youth suicide. He's now inviting others to join in on the effort. Our Megan Ramones has the story.
Hello everyone, my name is Chad Starr. May 3rd, I will be walking around the perimeter of Oahu for the 3rd time.
Chad Starr lost his daughter Sienna to suicide in 2019. She was just 12 years old. To deal with his grief, he started walking and kept walking all the way around Oahu.
I knew that I wanted to do something to raise awareness and at that time more so just honor Sienna.
So far, Chad has walked the perimeter of Oahu 2 times, all 132 miles of it. He's walked the perimeter of Maui too. Now he's making the trek around Oahu again, and he's hoping others will join him along the way. Chad says the walks allow him to honor Sienna's life.
Sienna was just such a great child, just always laughing, super talented. She was a gymnast, very artistic.
During his previous walks, hundreds of people joined him along the way.
And it just keeps growing larger and larger each year.
This year, he's partnering with nonprofit Fight Story, which was created by MMA champ Angela Lee after she lost her younger sister Victoria to suicide last November.
It seems to be challenging to find people that want to help others. You know, so when you find someone that, especially someone that's lost someone close to them to suicide, and they want to turn that into something good. I appreciate those people because I know how hard it is.
He hopes that once parents learn why he's doing the walk, they'll start a conversation with their child about anything they're struggling with. He also hopes more people will be inspired to reach out to a stranger.
And I've seen how powerful that is and how powerful it can be.
Because it can be life-saving.
I've had my own struggles, mental health struggles. I've had attempts, and I just think it's powerful to see someone that truly cares.
The walk is set for May 3rd, and it's not just an ordinary day.
Well, so May 3rd is Sienna's birthday. Last year, a friend brought some cupcakes, and we sang happy birthday to Sienna. So I would love to do that again this year.
He's inviting the public to come out, join the walk, and talk story with him.
Hope to see you there. Thank you.
And you can hear more of our conversation with Star at hawaiinewsnow.com. And if you or a loved one are struggling, you can reach the National Suicide and Crisis Hotline simply by dialing the numbers 988.
Thank you, Megan. Here's a live look at New York City, where the temperature is 49 degrees. We're going to have your first alert forecast coming up after this break.
How's it on this Thursday? You can't really see them, but the gusty winds are moving in over the state. It's going to be very windy today, tonight, before the winds slowly ease up for the weekend. And they will be pushing in a fair share of windward and Mocha showers throughout the day. They'll favor windward areas, but leeward sides will get some spillovers every now and then because of the brisk and breezy winds. We're not expecting a washout, but it will be a little bit soggy. And we've got a wind advisory for parts of Maui County and Hawaii Island. Those areas could get wind gusts upwards of 50 miles miles an hour today. That could lead to some spotty power outages. Otherwise, it's going to be a decent day today, save for those passing showers and those very gusty winds, 20 to 35 by the afternoon. So hold on to the little kids. And as far as the surf, because of those winds, we'll have a rising wind swell on the east shore, but it's going to be choppy and to some extent dangerous. And remember, there is a small craft advisory for all coastal waters, a gale warning for some of the channels. And these breezy winds will hang on through tomorrow, easing up slightly, and then they'll slow down to moderate speeds over the weekend, and a disturbance expected to bring more showers early next week.
Well, a big part of the Merry Monarch Festival is the fun Hawaiian fashions. I spoke with 2 local designers who have packed up shop and are headed to Hilo.
Is that the hip? Yeah, that's the hip.
Hawaii's fashion designers are ready to go.
It's loading up, it's packing up, and then going there to an empty box and making it look like, voila, putting your touch, your vibe on it.
From big local brands to small island vendors, artisans have their sights set on Merry Monarch Week as thousands of shoppers will converge on pop-up markets dotted around Hilo.
Always the greatest time of year. If I could only do one event a year, it would be Merry Monarchs.
For Burgundy Kopua of Nahivahine, the massive feat of moving her operations to Hilo is well worth it.
When it comes to the cost, it's not for the weak or weary. I'd like to say that you put everything into it.
She's bringing her largest collection to date, consisting of 27 different styles. In total, she's sending some 4,000 pieces of merchandise to Hilo, which takes multiple shipping containers and months of planning. And that's common for many Hawaii brands.
We have such amazing talent. And we have enough room for it here, for everyone to show their unique style.
Designer Kini Zamora is bringing his kukui collection. And in his many years working in the fashion industry, this is his 4th as a vendor during Merry Monarch. And on top of running his own pop-up, he's also designing outfits for 3 halau.
We try to do it. We always try to be ahead of schedule, but that never happens in fashion. We're always working on other projects while working on 10 other as well too.
He begins preparing 6 to 8 months before the festival.
Yeah. Get it and I'll see you there.
And while sales are great, for these designers, the true reward is seeing their customers shine with confidence in their designs and feeling the support of the community.
And I see them and they're like, look at me, like I look good, you know, or something like that. Is such a full circle for me because there's so much that goes into it. I don't know, I'm getting emotional, but there's so much that goes into it. And for everyone that supports small businesses, from the very depths of our hearts, like, thank you. Like, mahalo, mahalo, mahalo.
Now, both Nahivahine and Kini Zamora will have pop-ups at the Prince Kuhio Plaza. And of course, don't forget the official Merry Monarch Hawaiian Arts and Craft Fair is happening from April 3rd to the 6th at the Afukchinen Civic Auditorium.
If you live or work out on the windward side, you may have noticed more activity out on the water this week. The Kaneohe Yacht Club is hosting an international sailing competition through the end of the month. Casey Lund takes us there.
This isn't your average sailboat. This is a WASP sailboat. You can see it's a smaller foil boat. This one doesn't have a sail on it, but come with me. And what makes this so special is this is really the first time a competition at this level has been here in Hawaii. We talked to some of the sailors that are locals here from Oahu and around the islands and from around the world about what makes this sport and this boat so special.
The main thing about this boat is you have the foils. You have the foil section here. Rather than a normal dagger board, it sort of works like an airplane wing. So as soon as you build a little bit of speed, the boat sort of takes off and flies above the water, which makes the drag just come down and makes the boat insanely fast.
That's Magnus Overbeck. He's from Denmark, the second place world champion and the first place in the division under 21. He says he's proud to be here in Hawaii representing his country. Now you're from Denmark. Do these folks out here have a little unfair advantage being able to practice year-round?
Yeah, for sure they do. I haven't been able to sail the last 3 months. It's been freezing at home, and then coming out here, it's beautiful.
Bridget Conrad is from Australia. She says the opportunity to meet new people and travel the world is one of the things she loves most about this sport.
It's pretty cool to come over here. The Americans and the Canadians are really good sailors. Yeah, it's been a great experience.
Our local Hawaii sailors say they're proud to be able to show people from around the world what makes sailing in Hawaii so special.
The WASP class was started in 2016, so it is relatively new. And we've got a fleet of 14 boats in Hawaii right now. And it's growing very quickly across the U.S. and the world. So we've got sailors from all over here.
So what got me into it was also my dad. He sailed throughout high school, and then we came here and a bunch of my friends were trying it out over at Rainbow Bay Marina in Pearl Harbor. And I decided to just jump in it because my friends were doing it and my dad was super psyched on it. So I was like, okay, I'll give this a go. And I just absolutely fell in love with the sport.
Because of this class in specific, I've been able to go Italy, going to Norway, Canada, all around the U.S., everywhere.
There are a lot of different ways to get into sailing on the island. You can get into it through the military side of things, like how I did, or you can come down here to Kaneohe Yacht Club and get involved in the junior program and learn how to race.
The competition runs, like I said, until March 31st. They actually have a free spectator boat. You can sign up for that. We have a link at hawaiinewsnow.com. Reporting in Kaneohe Bay, I'm Casey Lund. We'll send things back into the studio for now.
Well, that looked like a lot of fun, didn't it?
You know what? We didn't have a lot of exposure to sailing on Kauai growing up, right?
Yeah, no. At least not my ohana. Yeah. I like to stay on dry land. And it's a one-person kind of boat thing. That
I know.
A little scary, for me at least. Like I said, I like to stay on dry land. Let's send things out live one more time for a look at Hilo Bay. You can see the clouds off in the distance there. Hopefully next week is bright and sunny because it is Merry Monarch. Thank you all so much for tuning in to today's episode of This Is Now.
Aloha.